The abortion campaign was full of bold promises, but how many of those actually materialised? This is Fatima Gunning and you're watching Gript Media. As we now know, Roe v. Wade is set to be overturned in the United States Supreme Court. This will mean that abortion law will be decided individually by each state, instead of being federally legislated. A major change to a 40-year-old decision. So with that in mind, let's look over some of the information that was used in the run-up to our own abortion referendum and see whether the claims made by the Yes campaign are reflected in the reality of abortion in Ireland today. During the abortion referendum, the Yes side made the following claims to sway voters who were unsure about repealing the eighth. They said that women would be safer in pregnancy, that abortion would be rare, and that late-term abortion would not take place. But did those three claims hold true, or were voters misled? Number 1. Are women safer after repeal? The pro-abortion campaign claimed that the Eighth Amendment was making maternal health care unsafe and preventing care when the mother's life was at risk. But termination of pregnancy was always legal under the Irish medical system, where it was deemed that there was a significant risk to the mother's life, such as preeclampsia, where the mother experiences dangerously high blood pressure, or ectopic pregnancy, where the fertilized egg implants and grows outside the main cavity of the womb. These conditions, if left untreated, can lead to serious implications for the life of the mother, and as such, termination of pregnancy was always allowed in such circumstances. If the baby could be saved, that was also considered best practice, but the mother's life took priority. Many senior medical professionals attested to the fact that you could save a pregnant woman's life even under the Eighth Amendment. Moreover, CSO data from the last 20 years shows that Ireland had long boasted one of the world's lowest maternal mortality rates, with numbers as low as 0 for the years 2003, 6 and 18. All while we had the Eighth Amendment. Ireland with the Eighth Amendment was a safer place to be pregnant or give birth than many countries where abortion is legal, like the US and UK. Pro-life advocates pointed to these outcomes and to the fact that doctors and midwives had repeatedly said that overcrowded and underfunded hospitals were what was actually putting women's lives at risk. But they were ignored. After abortion on demand was legalised, the government's focus seemed to shift away from the safety of expecting mothers, so much so that they actually cut funding for the National Maternity Strategy. This was the strategy that was rolled out after the tragic death of Savita Halappanavar to ensure protocols and procedures were followed to prevent deaths in maternity hospitals. And yet the government cut this funding plan. Incredibly, the funding was cut because then Health Minister Simon Harris wanted the money to pay for abortion. Last year, Marie Downey, who suffered from epilepsy, tragically died in Cork University Maternity Hospital after falling from her bed. Her baby boy Dara also died as a result of the accident when he sustained incurable brain injuries for being trapped under his mother's body. Prior to that tragedy, another mother, Karen McAvoy from Kildare, died of sepsis after giving birth to a baby girl in the Coombe Maternity Hospital in Dublin. And just last month, Tatenda Mukata tragically died after giving birth to a healthy baby girl in University Hospital Kerry. There have been no public vigils, no media outcry, no political speeches decrying the deaths of these women. It seems like once the eighth was repealed, the safety of women took a backseat to abortion. The claim that women would be safer has certainly not been borne out by the number of maternal deaths since the referendum. Number 2, are abortions rare after repeal? But what about the number of abortions? In response to concerns during the referendum that abortion numbers would increase dramatically after repeal, the Yes campaign claimed that the procedure would be, quote, rare. But earlier this month, the Department of Health estimated that 21,000 abortions have already taken place to date in just a few short years. Is this really what any reasonable person would call rare? That's literally twice the population of Wicklow being aborted. There's nothing rare about it. Again, what the Yes campaign said was simply false. And finally, number 3, is late-term abortion happening in Ireland after repeal? The Yes side also greatly misrepresented what access to abortion would look like in Ireland were the right to life removed from the Constitution. Many voters were concerned that abortions would take place later into pregnancy, which is the case in many other countries where abortion is legal. In the UK, for example, it's legal to abort a baby with Down syndrome through all 9 months of pregnancy. The Yes side gave false assurances that late-term abortion would not happen. happen. For example, then Taoiseach Leo Varadkar said the month before the referendum, quote, "Late-term abortions will be illegal." But just a few short years on, we now know that this isn't the case. We know that late-term abortions are taking place in Ireland. A recent study undertaken by medical professionals at Cork University Hospital told us how fetal medical specialists describe late-term abortion procedures as, quote, "stabbing the baby in the heart," and as, quote, "brutal, awful, and emotionally difficult," with one saying they got sick in the hospital corridor afterwards. As if this isn't horrific enough, the same study suggested babies who survive abortions are left to die. The issue is such that members of the Oireachtas discussed a proposal entitled Fetal Pain Relief Bill in mid-December 2021. According to the Journal of Medical Ethics, there is, quote, "good evidence," unquote, to believe that an unborn child can experience pain as early as 13 weeks, as the nervous system starts to develop at 12 weeks. According to Professor Stuart Derbyshire and John Bachman, the nervous system is therefore sufficient for the baby to experience, quote, "something like pain." Putting this all together just a few years after repeal, we know that women are dying in the Irish maternal healthcare system and maternal mortality has not improved since the 8th was repealed. Abortion is not rare, with 21,000 abortions taking place in almost 3.5 years. The number of abortions has in fact shot up dramatically, and late-term abortions are taking place in Irish hospitals without pain relief for the baby. But will the government and the Yes campaign be held to account for objectively misleading voters? Well, not by the establishment media who were part of the campaign to legalise abortion. At this point, it's worth asking, will voters look at these broken promises and see the facts for themselves? Ultimately, only time will tell. Please like and share this video, and if you enjoyed it, please consider signing up for a monthly donation via the link on screen to help us produce more content like this. Alternative media like Gript needs all the assistance it can get, and every donation goes a long way. As always, thanks for watching.